Good morning. When I was teaching high school and community college, it was clear to me that students were often doing homework as a chore for me, not because they perceived the work of homework as learning concepts or becoming facile with a skill. Because homework was connected to a point system in which they were trying to move through successfully, the majority of students would try and complete homework with as little investment of their time and energy as possible. They did it because they believed that the grade they received for homework was a big influence on their overall course grade. Would they pass or fail? I tried to dissuade them of this notion by exploring what homework could do for them. I worked through discussion, metacognitive exercises while learning, and student self-assessments of exam results that incorporated thinking about the relationship between energy put in to learn, i.e. homework, and outcome on exams. My hope was to have students come to the conclusion that they are in charge of their learning and therefore their grades. They could do their homework as an exercise in directed learning, and it was worthwhile, even if there was no grade attached. My efforts at fostering intrinsic motivation got mixed results. I really didn't want to grade homework. I wanted to have discussions that were student-led about what they needed to consolidate their newly acquired knowledge. But students weren't buying it, and I marked a lot of homework. Not too long ago, I read of a conservative Christian minister who was all in with the idea that God is love, and for whom the promise or threat of heaven or hell based on a person's actions no longer resonated. He did note that it was a bit trickier to have people engage in church and the mores of society when heaven seemed promised through the power of God's love and hell was no longer a threat. It reminded me of my students. If good behavior was not being counted in the final grade of an eternal life, why bother? This minister was working hard to have his followers come to the conclusion that behavior that falls within acceptable boundaries and mores is how one reciprocates God's infinite love and lives a happier life. They weren't all buying it. Here in the world of UUSM, we gather to find community where members strive to be good people without even an agreement that there is an infinite being, let alone one that consigns us to a seriously bifurcated afterlife. We're here because we are intrinsically motivated to build community with others who are also trying to be good humans. That's interesting. That's heartening. And that's what we're pondering this morning. Come, let us worship together.
We light the chalice this morning with words from C.S. Lewis. The only place outside heaven where you can be perfectly safe from all the dangers and perturbations of love, the only place is hell.
Feeling good, feeling right, every day, every night. I've got joy in my life, in my life. I used to wake up feeling real stressed, but now I wake up feeling real blessed. I'm in the sunshine and living my best life. There for a minute I was feeling real rough, until I saw that what I had was enough. I didn't know that I could love it this much, but I'm feeling good, feeling right, every day, every night. I got joy in my life, in my life. Yeah. Say farewell, say goodbye to my world, reason strife. 'Cause I got joy in my life, in my life. Sing it with me now. I got joy, joy, joy. Baby, I got joy. I got joy. When the rain falls, when the sun shines, when the winds change, in the hard times, I will stand firm. I'll be alright, 'cause I got joy in my life. Joy. When the rain falls, when the sun shines, when the winds change, in the hard times, I will stand firm. I'll be alright, 'cause I got joy in my life. Joy. Joy, joy, joy. Baby, I got joy. I got joy. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling right. I got joy in my life. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling right. I got joy. Morning light. World didn't give it. World can't take it away. World didn't give it. World can't take it. Morning light, weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Weeping may endure for only a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning light. Feeling good, feeling right. Every day, every night, I got joy in my life, in my life. Yeah. Say farewell, say goodbye to my world, reason strife. 'Cause I got joy in my life, in my life. Sing it with me now. I got joy, joy, joy. Baby, I got joy. I've got joy.
When you get here a little early on a Sunday and you see the musicians come in and there's a little frazzled from traffic and their coffee hasn't quite kicked in and their voices aren't quite warmed up and they get to the piano and it's not quite right, but pretty soon it is. And then they get up here and it's BAM! I'm like, so good, so good. Oh, let's see where I am. I know. Pull back the curtain. We love you guys. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church of Santa Monica. I am Sue Bickford, your worship associate for today. Now, if you read the announcements that came out in the Thursday Blast, it said I was the assistant minister. And I thought, whoa, I thought I stayed till the end of the annual meeting. I didn't know that it happened. Wow. And then the correction came, and I said, okay, well, maybe that didn't happen. But I am your worship associate this morning. As we gather in this sanctuary and in our virtual spaces, we recognize that this is sacred space, and it sits on sacred land. Our homes and the homes of most of our members and friends are located near the sacred waters and upon the unceded lands of Tongva, Gabrieleño, Ventureño, Fernandeño people, and we remember their presence among us today, the painful histories of this land, and the ongoing struggle for equity, justice, and sovereignty for all people. We're pleased to have you with us this morning. You may be in the sanctuary or online. You may have been here all your life, or this may be your first time here. If it is, welcome. You may be a weekly attender. However you found us, we welcome you. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious movement open to all people, all faiths, all spiritual traditions. We're diverse in a lot of ways. We are united in our commitment to social justice and to working through our differences to build community. We have many programs and ministries for all ages to feed your spirit, to use your gifts, and for service to this community and the world. May you find comfort, community, and inspiration here. And now the announcements. A reminder that when we have our in-gathering service on September 8th to mark the beginning of the new church year, we will be having a water communion. Remember to bring back a small bit of water from whatever your summer adventures are to share with the communion. Another reason to mark your calendars is that the UUSM weekend at our denomination's beloved Camp de Benneville in the San Bernardino Mountains is September 13th to 15th this fall. More will come about that later, a lot more. And Soulful Sundown is moving from Fridays to Sundays, second Sundays. On Sunday, July 14th at 5:30 p.m., there'll be another installment of the Soulful Sundown potluck and live music. A donation is requested for adults of $10, but children are free. And there's a heck of a lot more information and many more events available on the website and through the Thursday Blast. Or you can talk to members in the courtyard or take a look at the order of service because it's on that. There's got stuff that's going on today. And now let's take a few moments to greet each other. Say hello to your friends and neighbors. And we'll follow this with our opening hymn and our covenant. So when you see Sandra get up to lead the hymn, or maybe Ryan played some stuff there, it's actually time to sit back down and be quiet again as we go there. All right, and after that, we'll have our covenant in both English and Spanish. That's there. So let's say good morning. But there's more of this at coffee hour. Please rise as you are able and join us to sing our opening hymn, number 66 in the gray hymnal, When the Summer Sun is Shining. Stay standing afterwards for our covenant and our hymn of praise.
When
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la enseñanza de esta iglesia. Buscar la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es la oración. Vivir juntos en paz. Buscar el conocimiento en la libertad. Servir a la humanidad en comunión. Así es como convenimos unos a otros. If you have a donation for the Westside Food Bank, we ask that you bring it forward and place it in our basket at this time. We've been partners in collecting food with the Westside Food Bank for many years. And if you'd like to donate food, please make sure you bring stuff that's in non-breakable packaging and that can get used easily by itself. Our service to the world can be embodied right here each Sunday. All people, young people, middle-aged people, older people, are encouraged to give. We will now receive this morning's offering for the Westside Food Bank, followed by a very kind of special time for all ages, led by our Interim Director of Religious Exploration, Jessica.
Yes, we have something special today for our time for all ages. If you want to come join me over here for a minute. Hello. Hello, everyone. So this week, we're going to be reflecting on some music. So that's something special we're doing this week. In a moment, our beautiful singers are going to come up and sing a song that is not in any language spoken by humans, but the language spoken by cats, which is my favorite animal. And so in a moment, we're going to head back over to our listening corner so we can listen really well to what's being sung, because I want us to listen hard to see if we can understand what's being said in the conversation with these two cats. And that reminds me about how it's really important to listen to all voices, even the voices of our non-human friends that we share this earth with. So we're going to go back to our corner during the song, and you can either draw a picture or write down the words that you think you're hearing, or even do a little cat dance to express what we're hearing. So we're going to head back to our corner as our singers lead us.
Full day in the cottage.
He said, "Are the cats going to sing?" Thank you so much. If you missed karaoke night with the choir, you missed this and some other really fabulous performances. This was an encore presentation. I threatened to write a sermon about cats, but, but they decided they could sing it even without the sermon on cats. And I thought Jessica did a great job of leading up to that. Let's meditate on what the cats are saying to us. So we have a number of joys and sorrows this morning. I'm thinking of this as Countdown Sunday because it's the last Sunday in June. I think it's the 5th Sunday in June. And everybody is on the blocks getting ready to take off for the summer. And our beloved Javon and Chloe are on the blocks getting to take off and leave us forever. Again, something that was done without consultation with me. So we have some very special people in the pews this morning, and we're so happy to see you all, one of whom I'm going to call out, the Reverend Jeremiah Callanday, who is, whoa, our developmental minister. And so he too is about to take off. We're so glad to have you here this morning with us. Special acknowledgement to folks who work behind the scenes to get the church grounds ready for us on a Sunday morning. We share our space with the community, and all community members don't participate in the same way. So this morning we had some things to do, and our worship associate, Sue Bickford, was in here with a broom, sweeping up flower petals to make sure that the sanctuary was pristine for you this morning, and I'm very grateful. You will notice that there are flowers in abundance in the courtyard and in Forbes Hall, and we are grateful for that. It's interesting how an arrangement of flowers, what they are placed in and how they are mounted, determines whether or not we look at the flowers and say, yay, flowers, or oh, flowers. Are they funeral flowers? Are they wedding flowers? Are they birthday flowers? They're flowers. And we are celebrating the beauty that they bring to us. We are also having cake during our social hour after service. Why are we having cake? Why is there a need to have cake? But we do have a reason for the cake today. We are celebrating the completion and opening of our south entrance. Yay! And so finally, we can come in and out that door Finally, we can get to the bathrooms that are by that door. Finally, we can get upstairs, and we are preparing for new roomies, the Jewish congregation that's going to be sharing our space with us, and they will have an office upstairs. So there's a brand new door so you can look out into the meditation garden and see how beautiful that is. So it's one more corner of this gorgeous sanctuary, of this gorgeous campus that has been beautified and structured securely so that when there's another earthquake, it won't fall down on us, and it is safe for us to come in and out. We also have now wheelchair access, a totally accessible entryway. So we are doing our best to be green. We are doing our best to be inclusive. We are doing our best to be beautiful in all ways as we walk in this world as a community. So much to celebrate, and I hope you will stay after for the ribbon cutting and the moments of gratitude and the cake. So let us take a moment now. Each of us comes with joys and sorrows that we carry in our hearts. And I invite you to sit comfortably and to move inward and to breathe with us, because in community, joys are multiplied, sorrows are decreased, because we have one another to share. And so we will sit as you offer your silent prayers, your secret meditations, and your heart, the beating of your heart, breathing with us together. So the sermon this morning comes with more questions than answers. It's an invitation to live into the questions, as poet and mystic Rilke suggests. So as we talk, me aloud, you in your head, consider your answers to the questions. I will offer some of my own answers, but when you don't like my answers, I encourage you to stick to your own. But, except for this first question, if my answer is a problem for you, I ask that which is necessary for good drama and that is a willful suspension of disbelief. Pretend I'm right and that I know what I'm talking about. So my first question is this: do you believe? Do you have to believe? Do you have to believe in a God to believe in a heaven? Do you have to believe in a God to believe in a heaven? Is there a God in your heaven? Is there a heaven? Do you have a heaven? My answer is no. There can be heaven without God. So for some of you, that may be how you define heaven. So the next question is, well, what is heaven? For some people, it's a place where you go when you die. For others, it's a utopian existence someplace on this plane or another. It can be simply a descriptor of something absolutely wonderful, like cake. It could be a moment, a place, an experience. You fill in the blank. What is heaven? And more importantly, why do you need a heaven? Why do you want a heaven? For some folks, it's aspirational. When I grow up and get old and die, I want to go to heaven because. And for others, it's an inspiration. So heaven is up in the clouds someplace, and the streets are paved with gold, and we sit in golden thrones, and all of the ancestors there. As Sue mentioned in her call to worship, it could be motivation. If you're good, you get to go to heaven. And if not, who knows? Heaven is a place, it's a comfortable and it's a convenient place to put the gods that you create. It's a source of explanation for all the mysteries in our worlds. Like, what happens after we die? We don't know, they go to heaven. What happens to bad people? I don't know, but they don't go to heaven. So if there is a heaven, must there be a hell? So there's that binary thinking again. If there's heaven, is there hell? Heaven is utopian, hell is dystopian, a place where all your fears are manifested. If I asked you to describe hell, it probably would be a place and peopled by or populated by those things that give you the creeps. Now, when I was 6, my mother sent me to an evangelical vacation Bible school. And you've heard me tell stories about my mother. She sent me any place they would take little colored children. And so this vacation Bible school just scared the bejeebers out of me because they told us about how the earth was going to open up and fire was going to come out and swallow up all the bad people. Now, I was new to California and new to the idea of earthquakes. And I could hear the adults talking about the earthquakes. So you know how newcomers are before they have their first quake. My little mind just could not tolerate that kind of a threat. So I decided there was no hell and there was no devil, and I was not going to fall into the fires of hell. Besides, if God was good, God wouldn't allow such a place. I suppose I've been thinking theologically for most of my life. Later, I added to that, and I wondered, if God is love, why aren't all God's people loving? These are rhetorical questions that you may want to grapple with, that perhaps you should grapple with, or you can work it out in the next Write Your Own Theology class. Now, most people I know are certain that there is some type of afterlife. They talk about going to heaven, going to live with the ancestors, going to be with Jesus, joining the church triumphant. Indian master Sadhguru said, "Some people say heaven and hell are here on earth. Hell and heaven are not geographical places. Hell and heaven are what you make out of yourself." Heaven and hell are what you make out of yourself. There's so much talk of heaven because too many people have made hell out of themselves. That's what the master said. Reminds me of the line in an old song, everybody's talking about heaven, ain't nobody going there. Some say that death and rebirth beliefs are shaped by what you were taught as a child, as mine was. Life is short and filled with mysteries. There must be something more than this. So our education and training and religions help us to fill in the blanks that we cannot. Others hypothesize that the interpretation of the experiences shape one's beliefs. So some say that the experiences shape the beliefs, some say the beliefs shape the experience. I'm going to tell you about 4, and you can decide where you fall among this. There's a little boy who died clinically and was revived, and after that, he talked about his time in heaven. And his story is described in the book, Heaven is Real. And he said heaven absolutely is real, and he encountered people who are dead, and it was this wonderful heavenly place. He's the son of a pastor, and his story echoes what he had been taught about heaven. Now, the next book, Proof of Heaven, is a bit different. Although thousands of people have had life after death experiences, like the little boy, many people in the scientific community argue that those experiences are impossible. It's just a function of whatever state your brain was in. Well, Dr. Eben Alexander was one of those people. He's a neurosurgeon, and he'd studied the brain and operated on brains, and he knew that what people of faith call the soul was only a product of brain chemistry. Then his own brain was attacked by a rare illness, and he lay in a coma for 7 days. So his recovery is considered to be a medical miracle, but there was also a theological miracle, because while he was in the coma, Alexander says that he journeyed beyond this world, encountered an angelic being who guided him into the deepest realms of superphysical existence. I don't even know what that means. There he met and spoke with the divine source of the universe itself. Now, before this experience, Alexander could not reconcile his knowledge of neuroscience with any belief of heaven or God or the soul. Today, Alexander believes that true health can be achieved only when we realize that God and the soul are real, that death is not the end of personal existence, but only a transition. The next book, The First Phone Call from Heaven. The First Phone Call from Heaven by Mitch Albom. Mitch asks the reader to consider these questions. Who among those who have died do you want most to hear from? Who among those you love who have died do you want most to hear from? Whose voice do you long to hear? Who has answers to questions that haunt you? What if they called you on your phone every Friday morning for months? Just imagine. And then Alice Sebold wrote Lovely Bones. Now, Lovely Bones is advertised as a murder mystery. A teenage girl is murdered, and then she watches from heaven as her family and friends try to navigate their grief. Personal grief impacts the person, collective grief impacts the group, and compounds the personal grief. Now, I've spoken to a number of people who've read this book, and everyone takes away something different. What was most impactful to me was the description of heaven. Now, in this heaven, in Lovely Bones, the young woman who has died has a mentor who guides her around heaven. She's reunited with people that she knew in life. She meets some new people who become her friends, and she's surrounded by things that bring her joy, like dogs and camping. And she learns that each person has a part of heaven that is just theirs. So one day she asks her mentor, well, where's my new friend? Where is she? And her mentor says, well, she's not here today. She's not in this part of heaven. She's somewhere else doing something that she loves. So my questions here are these. Can you believe any of these stories? If heaven is the way it's described in Lovely Bones, what or who would be in your heaven? Now, my heaven would be filled with fabric, sewing machines to buy and sell, perfectly completed projects, and a few other people who are absolutely passionate about textiles, and no camping. Now, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm here to invite you to think about what you believe and to imagine if heaven is a place that exists, what is it like? What if this is heaven? What if heaven is a metaphor for beloved community? Here comes the UU propaganda. What are you doing to make heaven, our beloved community, real for yourself and for others? How can we make a heaven on earth that provides a world where everyone matters, where government cares, where relationships work, where there's excellent education provided for everyone, universal health care is a norm, affordable medicine, safe housing, life basics are a given, where communication is clear and healing and abundant, where differences are truly separated for adding richness to the community and being sources of deeper understanding of ourselves, where social constructs like race and gender don't exist. People are just people, where all living things are respected and all we do supports the health of the people and the planet. What if? So my final question is this: how do your questions and beliefs and your answers about heaven, hell, life, death, life after death, how do these things inform your daily living? What you believe makes a difference in how you understand your world. How you live your beliefs makes a difference in how you walk in your world.
We share our abundance in our offering every Sunday. It's shared equally between our church and an organization in the wider world. This Sunday, I want to highlight the work. I have to keep turning off my stuff. I want to highlight the work of the worship associates who give of their time and talent and risk exposure by expressing publicly thoughts and ideas they have. After more than a couple of years as one of that team, I'm rotating off. The creativity and thought offered by these talented individuals is a great reason to support our church every Sunday. And if you think you have something to offer, there's plenty of space on that place for you to. Today, 50% of our offering we share with the world goes to the National Center for Transgender Equality. NCTE provides advocacy, policy, legal assistance, and education. They advocate to change policies and society to increase understanding and acceptance of transgender people in the nation's capital and throughout the country. NCTE works to replace disrespect, discrimination, and violence with empathy, opportunity, and justice. There are so many ways to give, on your phone, on your credit card, but if you like to give right out of your wallet, then that's the way you can do that this morning. You can also make out a check to the church if you wish to do that. For all the offerings of dollars and time and talents, we're all grateful.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Heaven help us all.
Heaven help the black man if he struggles one
more day.
Heaven help the white man if he turns his back away. Heaven help the man who kicks the man who has to crawl.
Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Help us all. Heaven help us all. Hear our call when we call. Help us all. Heaven help the boy who won't reach 21.
Heaven help the man who gave that boy a gun.
Heaven help the people with their backs against the wall. Lord, heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Help us all. Heaven help us all. Hear our call when we call. Help us all. Help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Help us all. Heaven help us all. Hear our call when we call. Help us all. Help us all. Oh, heaven help us all. Oh, heaven help us all. Oh, heaven help us all. Help us all.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. This is number 108. My Life Flows On, an Endless Song.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the river far off hymn that has a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars, I know the truth it liveth. But through the darkness round me close, that's in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love prevails.
When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefined, how can I keep from singing?
You can have a seat. This service is almost over, and our service to the world will continue. I invite you to remember the cake and the reason for having the cake, and join us in Forbes Hall afterwards. Services like this cannot happen without lots of people doing lots of work. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the people who work in front of the camera, behind the camera, way backstage, who make sure the cameras are working, for our musicians who get it perfectly every single Sunday. It's just absolutely amazing. Don't know what we're going to do without you two. Thank you to our technicians who huddle in the back corner, Aubrey and Mia, who just do all kinds of magic back there. Thank you to all of you who are watching us and joining us online, and those who help to make that happen, Liz and Pam and Rima, and others who do the work to make sure you have bulletins, to make sure that the slides are up there. There's just so much to do. Tom comes early and opens up the building and makes sure that you're able to park in the parking structure. You know we have a parking structure for Sunday morning. You don't have to park on the street. I was here months before anybody mentioned that to me. And so we want to remember that we are community, and we want to remember that community works only when we work. And we want to remember that community is imperfect by definition, but it is progressive perfection. That is, we keep trying. We make mistakes. Others fail us. We have misperceptions. They don't meet our expectations. And these are all lessons for us to do things a little differently the next time. So thank you for coming. We hope that you keep coming back. And as you leave, walk through your life. Stand in the sunlight. Love all the things that make you strong. And I would take the flame and invite you to hold it in your hearts, but it has already left the building.